Obesity, fast becoming an epidemic in the United States. Do you know that approximately 34% of adults in the United States are obese and another 32% overweight? Adolescent and childhood obesity has tripled since 1980, and now 1/3 of the adolescents and children in the United States are overweight or obese. So our goal today is to talk about the prevention of obesity, because preventing obesity is much easier than treating the effects of obesity. These effects include diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, high cholesterol, muscle, joint, and knee problems, and I can go on and on and on. But the goal is to prevent the obesity before these health effects take place. 3,500 calories is a magic number. It takes approximately 3,500 calories to either gain or lose 1 pound. We'll refer back to this number several times today. It's all a matter of calories. It's a balance of calories. Weight gain and weight loss is simply calories in and calories out. So what we need to figure out is a way to take in less calories than what we burn. There was a book written several years ago called The Diet Advisor, and in that book there's some 200 different commercially available diet programs. These include Richard Simmons, Doctor's Weight Loss, Physician's Weight Loss, Weight Watchers, The Zone, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem. They're all in this book. And except for the Atkins style programs, at the end of each chapter, there's in bold print, it says, how does this diet really work? And that paragraph explains that that particular diet decreases your calorie intake. And that's the bottom line on how you lose weight. We talk about calories, so we need to talk about our basic metabolic requirement, and that's the number of calories that it takes to maintain normal body function. It's equivalent to about 10 calories per pound. So if you weigh 150 pounds, it's about 1,500 calories a day that you expend just to maintain body function. Then you add to that the calories that you burn by going to work, chasing your kids around the house, or whatever activities you're involved in. We call that overall metabolism. So the goal is to take in less calories than what your overall metabolic requirement is. Now here are some of the things that will decrease your metabolism. Number one is inactivity. So if you're sitting around doing nothing, you're obviously burning less calories. Body composition. Men lose weight faster than women because of muscle mass. Muscle is your friend. It burns more calories at a faster rate. Age, every 10 years, your calories and your metabolism slow. Your metabolism slows about 10% every 10 years, and therefore you can't be doing the same thing at age 50 that you were doing at age 40, because if you are, you're going to gain weight. So you have to actually increase your activity and decrease your eating as you age. Next is reduced intake. You know, the person that says, I'm not eating for the next 3 days because I need to lose 5 pounds. Well, that's the worst way to lose weight. If you try to reduce your intake, your body recognizes it as starvation and it shuts your metabolism down. Finally, certain illnesses affect our metabolism. The most notable one is hypothyroidism. It will slow your metabolism and make it more difficult for you to lose weight. Here are the things that increase metabolism. Number one is exercise. That's why we recommend exercise in all diet programs. Number two, eat those small frequent meals, because every time you eat even a banana or an apple, you actually bump up your metabolism because your body takes those nutrients and sends them out to different parts of your body, and that takes calorie burn to do that. Good thyroid function is essential. And if you think you have hypothyroidism because you have a difficult time losing weight, let us check your thyroid. We'll send you for the appropriate laboratory functions. Next is increased muscle mass. Again, muscle is your friend. So even the women, we recommend go out and lift weights when they're at the gym for 20 minutes and then get on the aerobic part of the exercise. And finally, hydration is important. We recommend ice water because you actually burn calories when you drink ice water. So let's talk about 4 rules to weight loss. The first rule is you have to eat less than 30 fat grams a day. And let's talk about why we pick on fat. Not only is the fat the worst part of your diet because it's unhealthy, but has the highest calorie part of your diet. And there was a book written by Dean Ornish back in the 80s. And Dean Ornish had a cardiac rehab program. He placed his patients on 20 grams of fat, put them on a treadmill 5 days a week for 45 minutes, and the result was weight loss. And these patients reported they ate more food volume-wise and they still lost weight. In medicine, we call it the 494 rule. All food is made up of 3 things, and that is protein, fat, and carbohydrates. Protein has 4 calories in 1 gram. Fat has 9 calories in 1 gram, and carbohydrates have 4 calories in 1 gram. So it makes sense that most of the calories in your food is in the fat, and the food pyramid goes along with that. It agrees with us on that. If you look at the top, we see fats, oils, and sweets. Use them sparingly. Then the next line down, we see the dairy products on the left and meat, poultry, fish, and nuts on the right. These all contain fat. Then when you get below that line to fruits, vegetables, and the grains, very little fat is contained in these types of foods. And that's what we should be eating most of. Let's talk about fat just for a couple brief minutes so you understand what fat is. There are a couple different kinds of fat. Trans fat is the worst kind of fat in your diet, and we don't use trans fat in cooking much anymore. The fast food restaurants used to cook their French fries in it. The donut shops used to make their donuts in it because trans fat tastes good. But what we found out was trans fat is the one that is most likely to cause high cholesterol and cardiac disease. So the government has made it illegal for these fast food restaurants to use trans fat. Then there's saturated fat, easy to recognize. It's the fat that's solid at room temperature. The fat in cheese, butter, and meat is saturated fat, also not a good fat. Unsaturated fat, easy to recognize. Liquid at room temperature, 2 types, polyunsaturated or monounsaturated. One of these is monounsaturated and one is polyunsaturated. I challenge you to tell me which is the healthier one, the polyunsaturated. Most of our classes say olive oil, and that's wrong. Olive oil is a monounsaturated fat. The way you can tell that is you mix a dressing up with it, put it in the refrigerator overnight. When you pull it out in the morning, it solidifies. If you do that with canola oil, peanut oil, or sunflower oil, it stays liquid in cold temperature. That's because it's a polyunsaturated fat. The thing you have to remember about all of them, though, they are 9 calories per gram. So when you leave today, you will start broiling, and grilling all your food or your meats. There'll be no fried foods, and I'll show you why. That piece of chicken on the left upper hand corner is Kentucky Fried Chicken, original recipe, deep fried, skin on. It is 26 fat grams. That piece of chicken on the left lower hand corner is from one of our famous restaurants. It's breaded, deep fried, and has gravy on it. It's about 32 fat grams. And that piece of chicken on the right, skin off, grilled, is only 2 fat grams. You take those numbers times 9, and you can see how many more calories you're taking in by eating the fried food. Let's take a baked potato. And the reason why I pick on baked potatoes is because I have many patients that say, I stopped eating potatoes because I know you gain weight on them. No, that's not true. The potato on the right, you're going to gain weight on. It has 2 slabs of butter, 2 scoops of sour cream, and it's 454 calories. That same baked potato on the left lower hand corner has some, I can't believe it's butter on it, and salt and pepper. It has 150 calories. And the baked potato in the left upper corner has cheese, broccoli, bacon bits, sour cream, butter. Folks, you do not want to eat that potato because you will gain weight. But I'm telling you, it's not the potato, it's the dairy products that we use to make them taste better. Look at milk, for instance. 2% milk, we agree, is 2% fat. Fat-free milk, we agree, is 0% fat. But tell me, does anyone in this room know what percent fat is in whole milk? Likely no one does. I've been teaching this class for 20 years. I have never found anybody that knew the answer to that question. Whole milk is 3% fat. It's not 100%, it's 3%. So when you go to 2% milk, you're not really doing yourself a big favor. But my point to it is you have to read labels. For instance, yogurt. Yogurt is not yogurt unless you read the label. Some yogurts, like the one on the right, is 50 calories. Other yogurts, like the left lower hand corner, is 250 calories. You need to read labels to know this. Butter, we need to substitute, learn substitution. Use I Can't Believe It's Butter Spray, Smart Balance, Butter Buds. They are 0 fat grams as opposed to real butter. So go home today. Not only are you going to bake, broil, and grill your food, but you're going to clean out your refrigerator, because I'm telling you, that's where most of your fat is, and that's where most of your calories come from. Let's look at bunny bread. How many calories in one slice of bunny bread? That's right, about 90 to 110 calories, depending on the type of bread. But you can buy low-calorie bread or Weight Watchers bread. 2 slices have 80 calories. So you can make that ham sandwich with 2 pieces of low-calorie bread, 3 slices of lean ham, and you have a sandwich that's approximately 150 calories. You're not gaining weight eating something like that. You need to go out today and not only clean out your refrigerator, but also go to the store and stock your house with low-calorie snacks. These 10-calorie snack packs are ideal. That fruit cup mandarin oranges is 40 calories. If you like ice cream, Skinny Cow has a whole list of desserts that are approximately 100 calories. And you can buy these 100-calorie Right Bites. And the reason why I recommend these is because if you get up from your chair in the evening because you're hungry and you want to nibble on something, and you open up the cupboard and you pull out that bag of potato chips or trail mix, or you open up a can of peanuts, I guarantee you, you eat until you're satisfied, and that's the problem. You never count the number of chips or how much trail mix or nuts that you're eating, so you can limit it. You just eat until you're satisfied. When you open up a bag of 100-calorie Right Bites, you eat the whole bag, you ate 100 calories, and you know that, and you know to stop at that point. You can get bananas. They're about 90 to 100 calories. Most fruit, like apples, oranges, and pears, are about 65 calories. 1 cup of green beans is only 40 calories. It's when you put the butter over it that increases the amount of calories. And then broccoli, 1 cup is about 40 calories. You increase calories by melting cheese over it. So there's 3 things while you're trying to lose weight that you need to avoid. Now, we already learned that we need to clean out our refrigerator, and we need to stock our house with low-calorie snacks. Now, you need to learn to avoid these 3 things. Number 1 is any kind of nuts. Do you know that 1 ounce of almonds has 17 fat grams? 1 ounce of peanuts has 12 fat grams, and 1 ounce of cashews is 13 fat grams. The problem with this is when we open up that bag or that can of nuts, we don't count how many we're eating. We eat again until we're satisfied. And if you think about it, they make oil out of certain seeds and nuts. They make peanut butter out of peanuts. These things are loaded with oil, with calories. And I agree they're healthy for you, but they will sabotage your weight loss. So you need to eliminate these in your diet while you are trying to lose weight. Now, once you've lost your weight, once you've reached your goal, you can put these things back in your diet in small amounts if you control it, and you can eat small amounts of these things. But while you're trying to lose weight, let's eliminate them. The second thing is mayonnaise products. This includes macaroni salad, potato salad, egg salad, tuna salad, mayonnaise on your sandwiches, and I'll tell you why. 1 level tablespoon of mayonnaise is 13 fat grams. Now, it's hard to eat less than that on your sandwich or in your potato salad or macaroni salad. And therefore, because of the high calorie content and the fact that it's a bit addicting when you eat mayonnaise products, while you're trying to lose weight, let's just eliminate them from our diet. A simple thing like ranch dressing is loaded with fat and calories. The third thing is cheese. Cheese is 7 to 9 fat grams per ounce, depending on the type of cheese. And again, it's addicting. It's in small amounts. If you go to a party and you see a cheese tray, I know what you do. You take a plate, you put 10, 12 crackers on it, put a hunk of cheese on each one of those crackers, and we're talking hundreds of calories. Here are 3 examples. That peanut butter single serving is 32 fat grams. That ranch dressing from McDonald's is 30 fat grams. And that piece of cheese, one serving, is about 9 fat grams. We look at a simple thing like a can of Coke. And for anyone that's a Coke, Pepsi, or Mountain Dew drinker in here, this is the fact. One can has 140 calories. Mountain Dew has 170. If you take that can of Coke times 365 days, that's 51,000 calories, and divide by that magic number, 3,500. That means if you give up that can of Coke, your sweet tea, or your diet or your Mountain Dew, in 1 year you could easily lose 15 pounds just by giving up your soft drink. So I challenge you to switch to water. If you don't like the way water tastes, flavor it, but you're still better off than drinking regular soft drinks or sweet tea. We mentioned McDonald's a little earlier. Can you eat fast food while you're trying to lose weight? Of course you can. I see skinny people at McDonald's every day. What I recommend is that you know what they have on the menu. Do you know most people think the healthiest thing on that billboard is the sausage biscuit? And in fact, it's the worst. It has 34 fat grams. The Southern style chicken biscuit has 28, and the bacon, egg, and cheese is 24. However, I wouldn't eat any of those if I'm trying to lose weight. But what I would do is look at the composition chart. Know what you want before you walk through the door. Because once you smell that food cooking, that's what pulls you in and makes you order things that are not going to be healthy for you, that are not going to be conducive to weight loss. So look at that composition chart and study it and know what you're going to order before you walk through the door. Then instead of getting that sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, you'd get an Egg McMuffin, which is about 11 or 12 fat grams. Second rule to weight loss, normal serving sizes. Folks, I've provided you with a diary. It has 90 days of diary keeping. It's sitting in front of you. I want you to keep that diary. All the studies show that if you keep a diary while you're trying to lose weight, you'll be more successful because a diary makes you accountable for everything that goes in your mouth. Plus, it makes you read labels and look things up in the composition chart like the one in the back of the book you're holding. We want you to write it down because we're creatures of habit. And once we write it 2 or 3 times, I promise you'll remember the numbers. So start using your diary. And when you look up in the composition chart, you'll see those normal serving sizes. For meat, it's 3.5 to 4 ounces, which is about the size of a deck of cards. I'm confident that no one in this room carries a deck of cards on them. So use your cell phone. Your cell phone is approximately the size of a deck of card. The good news is if you use it and you cut your meat that size, I don't care what kind of meat you eat. You can eat pork chops, you can eat chicken, fish, turkey, steak. You eat any kind of meat you want as long as it's the size of that deck of card and it's baked, broiled, or grilled. Next, your side dishes. They're all either 1/2 to 1 cup. So get yourself a set of measuring cups if you're not sure what a 1/2 cup or a cup look like on a plate. Measure it out a few times. Then, once you've done it a few times, I know that you can do it on your own without using measuring cups. But you might have to see it a few times before you actually know what a 1/2 cup or 1 cup look like. So use the measuring cups wisely. Third rule is the exercise rule. Our literature says no one can lose weight and maintain it without an exercise program. So you have to do something. we recommend you go home, take the clothes off the treadmill, plug it back in, and let's start using it again. We can recommend swimming if you're a swimmer. We recommend taking your dog for a walk if that's what you like to do, or get on a treadmill. And they did studies where they took folks with treadmills, stair climbers, the elliptical machine, and Nordic track. They followed these patients for over 1 year to see which piece of equipment was being used the most, and the treadmill won every time. So if you're about to spend some money on a piece of equipment for the house, buy a treadmill. Fourth rule is water intake, and we recommend that you drink a minimum of 64 ounces per day. That's 8 8-ounce glasses. Remember I said that's a minimum. And if you're not sure you like water, flavor it with a little Mio liquid or Crystal Light. We think that that's perfectly legitimate to do that. It will not affect your weight loss plan because they're all 0 calorie. What about menus? You'll walk through the checkout at one of the stores and you'll see a magazine that says lose 17 pounds in 17 days. And you pick that magazine up and you flip it open and you see this menu. I want to tell you they are absolutely crazy. Number one, you'll be cooking things you never heard of. You'll be spending hours in the kitchen and putting together stuff you've never had before. Your family's going to hate it. You're going to hate it. And it's all it is a lot of wasted time. I promise you, you will lose weight, but you'll finish up and you'll go back to eating the same old way and the same old thing, and you'll gain every bit of that weight back. So I want to teach you, you need to eat the things you like, but learn how to do it in a low fat, low calorie way. And I'll tell you 6 times you can eat in one day and still stay at around 1,000 calories. We give you amino burns, which is a collection of amino acids, essential elements that help to break down fat. L-carnitine is in this. It takes fat particles and pushes them into the mitochondria of a cell and burns that fat for fuel. That's the same formula that you've seen advertised for the injectable lipozymes. However, this is oral in a oral form. We recommend them highly. So you may want to try those while you're trying to lose weight. It'll accelerate your weight loss. We also offer B6 and B12 injectables. B12 is a vitamin that you need for neurologic function, as well as it helps your body produce red blood cells. These red blood cells carry oxygen to your brain and to your muscle. So many times when we find a patient that suffers from chronic fatigue or chronic tiredness, it's due to a B12 deficiency, and B6 is required for B12 to be effective. So we offer both of those injectables. We also offer a human chorionic gonadotropin program. You've heard this advertised before. It's an effective weight loss program. Human chorionic gonadotropin is a hormone we see in pregnancy that is in high numbers as far as concentration during the first trimester of pregnancy. And they think this is due to the poor nutrition of mother. The HCG helps to maintain thyroid function when the mother has poor nutrition and likely loses weight in that first trimester. Then after the first trimester, the beginning of the second trimester, the HCG concentration in mother's blood drops dramatically. And this is because mother is now eating a good nutritional intake and therefore doesn't need that HCG anymore to maintain the pregnancy. They started doing studies back in the 1950s on HCG for a diet program, and they found that HCG appears to increase thyroid function on starvation-style diets. Therefore, we put you on a very low calorie diet between 500 and 800 calories a day. We give you HCG as a nasal spray because it's much more cost effective and it's just as effective as injectable. And the weight loss is approximately 1/2 to 1 pound per day. You can lose anywhere between 15 and 30 pounds per month. So if you're interested in an HCG program, you can talk to your provider and he'll explain this to you and give you the diet. Also on the HCG program, the nasal spray we told you we use, the difference in cost for nasal spray and injectable is several $100s. That is why we feel the HCG nasal spray is more cost effective, and it is pharmacy grade HCG. It's not homeopathic. It is effective. It does work. Please talk to your provider if you so desire to do the HCG program. It costs a little more upfront, but likely you'll lose weight so fast that it's more cost effective overall. I want to talk just a couple minutes about vitamin D deficiency, and the reason why is because they estimate that all patients that are overweight are vitamin D deficient. They feel that vitamin D helps to decrease cravings, and that's why vitamin D deficiency uh, has effect on weight. It also has effect on bone and muscle. Vitamin D deficiency is one of the daggers for heart disease. When you have low vitamin D, you suffer with poor cognitive thinking. You have more asthma attacks if you're asthmatic, and you're more likely to get colon cancer. People that are usually vitamin D deficient, as I mentioned, overweight women and men, dark-skinned people, vegetarian diet, sunlight exposure limited. For instance, those ones that work inside all the time, or when they do go out in the sun, they wear sunscreen. Also, certain intestinal diseases like Crohn's disease and certain kidney diseases are vitamin D deficient. Again, these are the things that vitamin D affect. Number one is bone health. It prevents colon cancer, helps with depression and cognitive thinking. It'll help you with your weight loss if you have good vitamin D levels. And most importantly, it prevents blindness. You know the number one cause of blindness in the United States is macular degeneration. And vitamin D, taken as a supplement after the age of 40, decreases macular degeneration by greater than 50%. So by all means, go to the health food store and pick up good vitamin D3. I recommend you go to a good health food store like your local health food store or GNC and pick up D3, approximately 800 to 1,000 international units daily, and take a dose of this every single day. We use an appetite suppressant, phentermine. The thing that you need to know about phentermine, the brand name is Adipex P, is that there are 11 generic companies that make phentermine. Phentermine, because they're generic, there's a rule by the FDA that generic companies can use fillers in their medicine. And my belief is that Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and all these big chain pharmacies, they buy phentermine in bulk. They buy it by the semi-load. And they go for the cheapest price. And I think the cheapest price is that company that uses the most filler in their medicine. So many times I have patients that complain that there's just no effect from it, that it doesn't help to suppress their appetite. Therefore, I went to the compounding pharmacy that I use to compound my hormones, and I asked them to compound me phentermine if they could. They found a source of phentermine powder, 99.9% pure phentermine powder, inspected and approved by the FDA. They took it, they added chromium to it. Chromium is a mineral in your body that will help your insulin metabolize carbohydrates. And they put a slow release formula in it so it lasts longer in the daytime and you don't get quite as jittery with it. I highly recommend this phentermine with chromium, and it takes us just a day or so to get it to you. We'll mail it to you. We'll give you a prescription, and we'll get it right to you if you so decide to use the phentermine with chromium. The side effects of any phentermine drug is dry mouth, jitteriness, and insomnia. But if you have trouble sleeping already, it'll probably intensify. So I recommend you pick up some melatonin at the health food store when you pick up your vitamin D, and take melatonin at night right before bedtime. You cannot take phentermine if you have glaucoma, arteriosclerotic heart disease, hyperthyroidism, or uncontrolled hypertension. We also recommend strongly that you do not take phentermine with other amphetamine or amphetamine-like drugs. For instance, if you have ADHD and you're on Ritalin or one of the ADHD drugs, we highly recommend you do not take phentermine with that. Also, certain antidepressants, there's a contraindication out for antidepressants like Zoloft or Prozac with phentermine-like drugs. So therefore, we recommend you do not take these medications together. We do talk for just a brief time about hormone balance and weight loss, and the reason why we mention this is because the number one reason for weight gain after the age of 40 is hormone imbalance. And therefore, if you decide that you would like us to check your hormones, we send you for testing. We do blood testing, not saliva testing. Saliva testing has been proven to be not very reliable, very unreliable. The only reliable way to test for hormones is blood testing, and therefore we test your serum for estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, which are made by the ovaries. We test you for pregnenolone and DHEA, which are adrenal hormones. We do a complete thyroid panel on you to include TSH, T3, T4, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies. We do B12 levels, and we do D3 levels. We want to know your vitamin D level.